This is a true story that happened in 1998, told through the lives of a married couple known as Uncle Si and Aunt Waz. Long ago, there was a man who had once been wealthy since the old social era. He was born in Krati province, in a Muslim village. However, by the time this story takes place, his life had changed completely. In 1998, Uncle Si and Aunt Waz were extremely poor. Their hardship came from two major disasters. First, they were robbed by thieves. Second, their house was destroyed by fire. After these events, they were left with nothing. Because of their desperate situation, they sold their land and went to live temporarily near the house of an old woman. The land was sold for only 3 tael and 5 g of gold, far less than its real value. The buyer was an old woman named Grandmother Munang. After selling the land, Uncle Si and Aunt Waz used all the money to pay off debts. When everything was paid, they were left with no land and no property at all. Seeing their misery, Grandmother Munang said to them, "Come and stay on my land. I will let you live here." So the couple stayed there. However, Grandmother Munang had a younger sibling named Aunt Sin. When Aunt Sin found out, she became very angry. She argued fiercely and said, "Why let them stay on this land? What are they doing here?" Grandmother Munang replied, "Wait, I will talk to them myself. I am the one who allowed them to stay." Later that night, Grandmother Munang went to speak with Aunt Waz and Uncle Si and said, "I will no longer allow you to stay here. I am going to give this land to my sibling." Uncle Si and Aunt Waz begged her, "Please allow us to stay 1 more month, just until we can find money to buy another piece of land." Grandmother Munang agreed. More than 1 month passed. One night at around 9 p.m., Aunt Sin came to Uncle Si and Aunt Waz's house. She looked frightened and confused. She said, "Something is very strange tonight. Let me ask you something. Have you ever seen someone moving secretly behind the house at night?" At first, I thought I was imagining things. I went to check, and I saw that both of you were inside your house, but the figures I saw had very long hair. Have you seen anything like that? Uncle Si replied, "No, I have never seen anything like that." Aunt Sin then said, "Please help me think about this. I am old now. Tell me, what do ghosts or evil spirits look like?" She continued, "I have noticed something strange about my older sister, Grandmother Munang. On the first and second nights, I saw her wake up at midnight to pray, but on the third night I saw her go and sit behind the house. I didn't dare disturb her. I thought she might be praying or chanting, so I stayed inside holding my prayer beads. But when I looked at her face, her eyes did not look human. She was staring intensely at a cat. When the cat walked past her, her eyes followed it. Her eyes were yellow like an animal's. I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I secretly watched her more closely. Then I clearly saw that her eyes were glowing with yellow light. She was scratching the wooden floor under the house with her hands. What do they call something like that? Is it an Asi spirit?" Uncle Si answered honestly, "Aunt Sin, I truly don't know." After that, Aunt Sin stopped talking. She returned to her house and went to sleep. 3 days later, Aunt Sin fell seriously ill. Uncle Si and Aunt Waz went to visit her. When they arrived, they saw Grandmother Munang sitting beside Aunt Sin. They asked, "How is Aunt Sin now?" Grandmother Munang replied calmly, "She's sick, but it's nothing serious. She will be fine." Aunt Sin was truly ill, but she was not dead. She kept watching everything silently, but she did not dare speak anymore. After visiting, Uncle Si took his wife and returned home. That night, at around 8 p.m., something terrifying happened. Suddenly, Aunt Sin appeared, wrapped tightly in a blanket, and walked into Uncle Si's house. She said, "Tonight I want to sleep here with you." When Uncle Si and Aunt Waz allowed her to stay the night and invited her inside the house, Aunt Sin spoke in a shaking voice. "Oh, Si, I truly didn't know. We are sisters born from the same parents. I swear I didn't know. I didn't know that my younger sister had a spirit inside her, just like what I told you before. I kept seeing her wake up in the middle of the night again and again. I thought she was just praying, but one night she woke up like that again. I woke up too, and we suddenly faced each other. We both startled awake. Then my sister asked me, 'What did you see?' 'What are you looking at?' I told her, 'I didn't see anything, why are you asking?' She didn't say anything, but I knew she didn't believe me. Then she told me, 'Go back to sleep. It's already late,' so I went back to sleep. But when I lay down in my room, I don't know what it was. Something came and licked my feet. It felt strange, cold, and terrifying. I jumped up to look. Osi, the thing that was licking my feet. Its head was as big as a basket. Its eyes were wide and bulging. Its tongue was long. I screamed. Then it spoke and said, "Why are you screaming?" I looked again. Osi, it was my own sister. But what I saw at first was not my sister at all. That is why I became sick. Ever since then, even when she walks past me, I am terrified. When morning comes and I hear her voice, I am still afraid. My whole body trembles. Oh, my sister has already changed. She has become possessed. A spirit has entered her. Spirits can hear everything we say. Just as she finished speaking, Grandmother Munang suddenly shouted from outside, "What are you all doing here? Do you know what time it is already? Why are you all gathered here?" She shouted again, "Aunt Sin, go back to sleep." "What are you doing here?" Aunt Sin began to shake violently. I'm going. As she left, Grandmother Munang stared hard at Uncle C and Aunt Waz. They didn't dare look at her face. They lowered their heads. The next morning, Grandmother Munang warned all her children and grandchildren, "Do not let Uncle C and Aunt Waz come up to my house ever again." Sometime later, Uncle Sai went to set fishing traps along the river. It was already 1 a.m. when he returned. On his way home, he quietly chose to walk past Grandmother Munang's house. He thought to himself that at this hour she must already be asleep, and if he took another path, it would take much longer. When he reached the front of the house, he checked carefully. All the lights were turned off. He continued walking. When he was halfway past the house, he suddenly saw someone moving down the back stairs. Uncle C immediately grabbed his wife's hand. Luckily, there was a large water jar nearby. He pulled her close and hid beside the jar so they wouldn't be seen. He saw Grandmother Munang coming down the back stairs, but not feet first. Her hands touched the ground first. When she reached the ground, she crouched low, her back bent unnaturally. Uncle C stared in terror, then their eyes met. The moment Grandmother Munang's eyes met Uncle C's, she suddenly stood straight up. Just a moment before, she had been hunched over. But now her body straightened instantly, and she became fully human again, just like before. She walked toward them. Uncle Sai was drenched in sweat from fear. She asked calmly, "What are you doing here?" Uncle C answered shakily, "I just came back from checking my fishing traps." She continued, "Did you catch many fish?" "Yes, quite a few," Uncle C replied. She said, "Give me 2 or 3. I'll fry them for breakfast." Uncle Sai quickly gave them to her. Then she said, "Go home." Uncle C and Aunt Waz walked back to their house without daring to look behind them. Aunt Waz was nearly out of her mind with fear. She had never seen anything like that in her life. When they arrived home, they went to sleep. At 6 a.m., Uncle Sai opened the door and saw something horrifying. The fish he had given to Grandmother Munang, about 7 climbing perch, were hanging there. They had been threaded together with a cord pushed through their mouths, tied up. But the cord was broken into pieces. When Uncle C saw this, he was completely confused. He picked up the fish and said to himself, "These are the fish I gave to Grandmother Munang. Why are they only half eaten? Why are all their mouths damaged?" He stopped talking entirely. At 12 noon, Grandmother Munang came over. "Uncle Sai, Aunt Waz, I want to talk to you," she said. "The land behind the house. I have already given it to my sibling. It's time for you to find another place to live. I will give you 1 G of gold." She truly handed the gold to him. Uncle C accepted it with trembling hands. Then she warned them. "Once you leave my land, do not ever call my name again. If you dare call my name, don't blame me for what happens." Uncle Sai and Aunt Waz left. 10 days after leaving Grandmother Munang's house, Uncle C accidentally made a mistake with his words. By then, he and his wife had already moved to a new village. One day, a neighbor asked him, "Brother, where did you live before? Who did you live with?" Uncle C answered without thinking, "I lived with Grandmother Munang in that village." The moment the words left his mouth, he suddenly realized what he had said and felt shocked. He did not have to wait long. About 3 hours later, Uncle C's eyes began to hurt badly. He rubbed his eyes with his hands again and again, and suddenly blood began to flow from the corners of his eyes. After that, his eyes became swollen. When night came, the swelling became worse and turned into pus-filled sores. His wife cried non-stop. She tried both traditional Khmer medicine and modern hospital medicine, but nothing worked. For 2 nights, Uncle Sai could not sleep. He lay there in pain, groaning continuously. Then, late at night, he suddenly got up and walked outside. shouting Aunt Waz's name loudly. Aunt Waz replied, "Who is calling?" Then another voice shouted back. It was Grandmother Munang's voice again. "Is your husband really sick?" Terrified, Aunt Waz opened the door. She saw another person, not Grandmother Munang herself, but the voice was exactly hers. The voice said, "Your husband is sick, right? I brought medicine for him." Aunt Waz was so frightened that she accepted the medicine without thinking. She brought it inside and told her husband, "I don't know who brought this medicine." When they opened the bag, they saw that inside was soil and worms. About 1.5 hours later, Uncle Sai's swollen eye suddenly burst open, and worms crawled out from the place that had been swollen. No one knew what Grandmother Munang had done to him. Aunt Waz went to ask people in the village, "Is there anyone here who knows magic or sorcery? I suspect my husband has been cursed." The villagers told her, "Go find Takim. He can come even at night." When Takim heard this, he immediately came to see Uncle Sai. He saw Uncle Sai lying there, pus flowing into his ears. Takim began to chant and blow softly over him. After blowing, Takim suddenly spit from his mouth. He was powerful. He could chant and pull the sickness back into himself, then spit it out. Then Takim said, "Your husband has been harmed by ghosts or spirits." Before he could even finish his sentence, Takim suddenly peeked out through the window. He then urgently told Aunt Waz, "Do not stay in this house. Come to my house first. Tomorrow morning, I will take you to see another master. My house has many sacred scriptures. Go there now." So they went with him. As soon as they arrived at Takim's house, Uncle C's eyes improved, the swelling reduced, and the pain lessened. The next morning at 5 a.m., they went to see another master named Mother Timus. As soon as Mother Timus saw them, she said, "So you brought them to me to remove it again, huh?" Takim replied, "Please help them. They are desperate husband and wife." Mother Timus said, "What can I do? Come in and sleep first." What happened from the beginning? Aunt Waz then explained everything from the very start. After listening, Mother Timus asked Takim, "Do you recognize this kind of ghost or spirit?" Takim answered, "Yes, I do." Mother Timus said, "He was attacked by that same one." Then she said, "Takim, sleep here tonight. You came from far away. Uncle Sai and his wife, you sleep here too. Tonight I will call the spirits to meet." Mother Timus prepared rice water medicine and gave it to Uncle Sai to drink. After that, she behaved as if she didn't care much about the patient at all. "You're the one who's sick, so be sick," she said calmly. Then she began chanting prayers. After she finished chanting, they suddenly heard the sound of a horse neighing from beneath the house. Mother Timus asked, "Did you hear that?" Aunt Waz replied, "No, I didn't hear anything." Mother Timus said quietly, Then that's fine." She stood up and went to boil tea. After Mother Mass finished boiling the tea, she came back up into the house again. She bent down and looked beneath the house, then said, "You can only stay under the house. You're only strong in your own village. If you're in my place, your strength doesn't work." Mother Mass spoke deliberately to provoke Grandmother Munang, and it worked exactly as she intended. The spirit became angry. It slowly lifted its head and peeked up through the gaps between the bamboo floor slats. Its eyes were wide and glaring. Mother Mass stared straight back at it and said, "When ghosts and spirits lock eyes with humans, they can steal our souls. But I'm not afraid. You look at me and I look back at you." "If you're not satisfied, look again, you chicken-hearted thing!" Mother Mass began chanting. She lifted a bowl of blessed water and poured it down through the bamboo floor gaps. As soon as the water touched it, the spirit returned to its original form. It clearly appeared as Grandmother Munang, wearing a sarong and a long blouse that reached down near her knees. Mother Mass bent down and asked Aunt Waz, "Does your grandmother wear clothes like this? About 70 years old, right?" Aunt Waz answered, "Yes, that's her, Mother Mass." Mother Mass said, "All right, wait a moment. I'll call her to come up." To be clear, what came was only her spirit. Her physical body was still at her house, like someone who keeps spirits. The ghost spirit brought the soul up. Mother Mass calmly pulled out a cigarette and smoked while waiting for it to come up. As she waited, she mocked Grandmother Munang. "In my village, if someone provokes me, I chase them right to their house. Not like you, borrowing someone else's body to enter. In my village, if I fight, I tear my chest open and fight openly. In my village, even women smoke cigarettes. Not like you, hiding inside borrowed bodies. If you're strong, come up here and fight me." Takim sat nearby with his legs folded, listening quietly without saying a word. Mother Mass knew the spirit was climbing up, so she told Uncle Si and his wife to stay completely silent. As it climbed, they heard the cracking sound of joints. Crick, crick. Mother Mass said, "When a ghost like this enters someone's house, if there's a pregnant woman inside, the baby will be born feet first. If there's a sick person, they will lose their breath and die." When she heard the cracking sounds getting closer, she said, "Come closer." As soon as it reached the threshold, Mother Mass said, "That's enough. You've reached my place now." She stood up. The spirit was standing at the doorway. Mother Mass stood facing it. She dipped her hands into blessed water and chanted. With her left hand, she opened the door. With her right hand, she struck the spirit's head once. The spirit went rolling down beneath the house. Mother Mass stood and watched. What had come up as something that looked human was no longer human at all. It turned into a creature. No one knew what kind of animal it was. It was writhing, convulsing, and twitching all over the ground. Mother Mass did not wait. She chanted again, grabbed a stick, struck it, then pressed its head down against the ground with her hand. After chanting again, she dragged it up and tied it to the staircase. She said firmly, "If you want souls and if you want peace, I will release you, but on 3 conditions. First, do not enter Grandmother Munang's body ever again. Go into the forest and stay out of human sight. Second, you are not allowed to remain in this village. Third, do not ever let me see you again. If I do, I will wipe out your entire kind." The next day, she treated Uncle Si until he was completely healed. Then Uncle Si returned home. After that, Mother Mass released the spirit and said, "Now he is healed. I am removing your bindings. Once I release you, run into the forest and disappear. I am letting you go." She released it. The spirit truly left. It ran away holding its belly, as if it were pregnant.